What is going on, all you goons and producers? It's your boy, Miko Anthony. As always, Damien's an alien. As you can see, Damien was supposed to schedule a guest today.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. You see, I'm about to get fired again. What is it, my fourth time?
Performance review, man. No, I'm kidding. You are actually here for a very special occasion, the PP Show's anniversary special. It's been a crazy year. We started off in the Bush Leagues. And yeah, it's been a journey, dude.
It really has.
So we got the news desk out. We got a whole lot of recap of the year. We got former guests coming in. We got music as always, man. It's going to be a good show, and it's a big celebration of not just the show, but of the local music community out here in Albuquerque. You guys have been really the driving force in what makes this show possible. Because, without the guests, we don't got the show. We don't got, local picks of the week. There's a lot of things we don't have without the community. And honestly, that's what today's episode is a celebration of the great music community. Anything you got to say, Damien?
Yeah, no, just thank you for the last year. It's been, something we never would have imagined. Because when we started this originally, it's just, something that blew out of proportion, that blew all of our expectations away. So thank you so much for that.
There's a lot of milestones that we definitely hit within this first year that we thought we wouldn't have, being a startup from pretty much, nothing, to be honest. So anyways, we'll talk about the recap of the year soon, because there's a lot of stories and just, there's a lot of things some of you might not know about, how this show came to be and even who we are. But before we do all that, it's just because it's a special don't mean we can't do another song of the week. Guess it's a very special one, more or less. I mean, it's just another week of recommendations, but hey, it just happens to fall on a good one. So Damien, hit us with a recommendation for the people.
All right. So I had a song originally planned, and as always, I was listening to another song on the way over here. I said, I got to do that. So I was going to recommend a Still Woozy song, but, I think I talked about it enough. I'm going to go ahead and go with Tupac Shakur, Better Days. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. I know that song by heart. Everything about it is absolutely beautiful. Just beautiful song. Plus, I share the same middle name as Tupac, which is dope. I have also a special song of the week. One of my friends, Marcus, told me to recommend a song for him. So I'm going to go ahead and do Digital Dash by Future and Drake, which is, shout out them. As far as local picks, I'm going to go ahead and do Calypso by 1OK, man. That's an absolute banger of a song. 1OK has been putting out constant bangers. So go ahead and go check that out.
Nah, definitely. 1OK, true homie, dapper as hell.
True.
She was going crazy at Doug Fest. no, I mean like fit wise, but hey, I can't speak on her behalf there. I don't know.
Without her lawyer's present,
Lawyer's present, exactly. 1OK is some good content, that's for sure. That Words with Friends series that she does, where she just freestyles, and, stuff that her friends give her, that's some of the coolest stuff.
Yeah. Anyways,
as for myself, I'm gonna do something that hits a little close to home that I kind of discovered this week. It's called "Leaving Las Vegas" by Baz9. That was his name. He had a very interesting name, but I grew up out there, and leaving there was definitely a big change in my life. And I never thought there'd be a song to kind of have me ponder that, or kind of go through the range of emotions, moving away from your home like that. So it's a real nice, just chill experience that really just honestly is good for the Vibe playlist. Put that under V for Vibe. Great stuff. As for locally, Right On Kid from Life is a Movie, Stay Close. Real good album, real great new release.
I actually recommended that last week.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, I finally got to it because
it's a banger. That's a banger.
It's a banger. Yeah. Definitely go check out that whole album, because they killed it, man. It's a really good kind of revival to the older alt rock days, you know, like your Jimmy Eat Worlds, you know, and those guys kind of bring that style back. I mean, I love seeing that alt rock revival. I mean, even like the Gentlemen, the Boy Moist Critical kind of bringing back, like 2004 Breakup was kind of just like a throwback
Oh, yeah.
to a different era of music. And so Right On Kids definitely doing that. And like Damien said, he recommended it, but I finally got to it. And honestly, I mean, hey, you got you got a double recommendation, 2 in a row. Right On, kid. And so yeah, I guess we'll get into the history of the Producer's Pit. But first, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Producer's Pit anniversary special. We're going to be recapping the year, talking to some past guests, and overall just kind of reflecting on the first year of this show, which has been something crazy. So I guess let's talk a bit about the Producer's Pit and how it came to be and such, and some things that you guys might not know, you know, some of you newer viewers, and maybe some of the OGs, and that depends, because if you won't go far that back, or if you go way back like that, hey, big ups. But anyways, I guess we'll start with who we are. Myself, I've spent a lot of my years in orchestra playing violin. That's kind of my deal. This last year just kind of picked up guitar. Not great at it, but hey, gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
But learning another string instrument's cool, kind of translates well, but violin's kind of my big thing. I'm in the more kind of conventional, you know, classical music side. That's how I was trained. That's how I spent a lot of my time. And yeah, you know, that's kind of where my passion for music came from, was just my years in orchestra. And kind of some other inspirations would be like, my dad did a podcast about 10 years ago when we were living out in Las Vegas, Nevada, called Hook Jawnet Radio. Interviewed a whole crazy amount of, you know, local acts, you know, like your Carrot Tops, probably Chippendales were in there. I had to be, you know, that's a Vegas staple.
Mm-hmm.
But his last interview was Coolio on that show, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's something just like, you know, just watching him and his friend do that is kind of one of the big inspirations for why I wanted to do a show like this, is because, you know, watching that grow and all that was, you know, really cool growing up. And it's like, you know, you kind of get some inspiration in your own watching your parents do something like that. So that's real cool. And of course, Damien.
Yeah. So my name is Damien, and I also go by An Alien, which a lot of people might know about that. I am a rapper, and I've started actually producing a lot of my songs in high school. And man, I was real trash, but I got a lot better. You know, I started producing hip hop beats, you know, the little XXX Tentacion type beat and stuff like that. So, you know, I definitely tried just like escalating my game more and more and more, and I just got better. And yeah, I just like, I've always loved music. My parents love music, and you know, I think I always loved media and stuff too. I mean, back in the day I did YouTube, but that was like Call of Duty trick shotting stuff. So like
classics,
bro.
bro.
So that was like, you know, my form of media. But yeah, no, like whenever Miko and I first met each other, we always kind of talked about starting a show because we both shared the love for music, and I know Miko shared the love for media as well. So we were like, let's start something, let's do something. We've always kind of talked about it. Then there was just one day we're just like, let's do it. Might as well go for it. I actually met this guy at UNM's new student orientation, which is kind of crazy. And now that we're here.
Yeah, no, that's something we realize you don't really hear much about UNM is people meet, you know, you meet people at NSO, but you never like kind of hang around them.
Yeah.
So it's something that we haven't heard a lot. That's not how a lot of people met, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But NSO did his job in this case. But yeah, I mean, as a show, I mean, obviously Damien was a ex-trick shotter. If you can find his old channel and DM it to like Damien or the show page, there's a prize in there.
There's a prize on that. I'll give you something. I'll give you like $100. I'll put in $100 for that.
We'll put in $100 if you can find his old trick shotting channel.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, no, he did kind of pop off back in the day. But, you know, as far as, like, I guess, our interest in terms of content creation, I honestly, we just want to be Cody Ko and Noel Miller.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Just like those guys, I think, really kind of were a big influence on just that kind of, you know, duo reaction podcast deal. Another big one, Nardwar, the boy.
Nardwar, yes, of course.
That's kind of why we like to find some information on our guests and hit them with some stuff out of left field. Because, you know, even though they are a local artist, that don't mean you can't, you know, have some fun with them and figure out some deeper cuts in the surface level. So, you know, it's really kind of just that comedy style and, you know, taking some of the goods from that and then trying to, you know, just put our own kind of humor and our own passion for music into it and our own musical backgrounds is really kind of what I think makes this show and makes the dynamic, you know. And so as a show, though, I mean, really, it started off as, 2020, everyone's kind of stuck inside, bored as hell. Things are closed down. A lot of the activities Damien and I did were pretty much like just non-existent, which was real sad. And so there was kind of just like a big void, you know, like, you know, what are we going to do? You know, like I said, there was a lot of just stuff we did in our free time, whether it was part of, you know, school organizations or, you know, just being on campus, whatever.
Yeah.
That's really kind of what got us thinking about, you know, let's do something else, let's go for it. And so the original concept of this show was actually, once again, really heavily inspired by our conversations with, oh, here we go, Pocket Elephant.
Pocket Elephant.
The boy,
Pocket Elephant show.
It's the Pocket Elephant show. This boy is the history.
Yeah, he is.
And then Elliot Blue, who was Meraki at the time, who should have stayed DJ Haslow.
Which is, his name's actually Ethan. So.
But his name's actually Ethan.
Yeah.
Ethan Duff. And just kind of our time hanging around the Student Special Events office over at UNM, you know, we volunteered for events, you know, we were always kind of around and we met some great people. And so a lot of things, really like the original concept was for new releases, we still need to do this, by the way. I honestly don't know how it would go, but really it was, you know, for artists, local artists who were doing new releases, we'd sit down, listen to their project with them next to us, you know, in this kind of podcast format, and then critique the whole project kind of after the listen through. And honestly, that's kind of like the main concept of what the show was. And so, yeah, no, I mean,
it's like an Anthony Fantano
like
thing. Yeah.
Anthony
but like
Fantano
actually
live.
in front of the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone get about a light 7.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
No more, no less. But yeah, I mean, what did you think about kind of the concept, you know?
Yeah,
and working with that.
I think, like you said, I think a lot of our ideas came from like our conversations we had. And I know I was running the music production club at UNM at the time too, and that's actually how I met Pocket Elephant. And shout out Pocket Elephant show. But
take a shot every time, yeah.
But yeah, no, we definitely had the idea of just like sitting down with the artists, really like trying to improve the artists' music and trying to help them, give them constructive criticism for the music. And that was really where it stemmed from. And then it turned into like a interview type Nardwar show, which was like totally cool with me. I mean, I love learning about music. You love learning about music. We both share a great understanding of, I think, music. So I think it was really cool to come up with something else. And as you could see, our first spot where we recorded at was, man, it was something else. I mean, you can see I'm barely in the camera. You can see my glasses on the bottom right of the screen right there.
It was really kind of supposed to be like a audio only deal, but the modern podcast is video too.
Video.
So we kind of just banked on our conversations being what carries
exactly, and we were like in the back room of your neighbor's house. And
yeah, no, shout out Dean Campbell.
Yeah,
That guy has
really,
been
yeah.
pretty much like my grandfather, but we needed a space to record. And to be honest, I mean, we really didn't have any of the connections we did. And yeah, I mean, like with that show with our boy Ethan, you know, we
Yeah.
went to his apartment and filmed, you know, and it was really, we kind of had our own traveling setup, you know, bought our own mics and bought
man.
kind of everything.
And the audio was so bad.
Our
sometimes.
audio spiked. It's a good thing it's muted because your ears are being saved right now. But, you know, it was really kind of, you know, that's kind of where it started, those, you know, apartments, back, home studio rooms, you know. And, you know, it's, what's great is it's like, I feel like the show really hasn't kind of strayed away from the original concept. Because, I mean, our original idea was going to be, you know, critiquing new projects, but it kind of turned into, we realized no one's doing something like this, and kind of inquiring into, you know, what these artists do and what makes their music, you know, and what experiences they have to kind of, you know, either contributes to their music or contributes to their story. And so when we realized we had an opportunity to explore that, we kind of dropped our original concept and went for something, you know, a little more conventional, I guess. But we still tried to kind of bring our own twist. Like, if you go back and watch the first episode, we started Song of the Week there. Like, a lot of the segments and such, like Song of the Week, I think is the biggest one. That's ran through literally from episode 1 and till now, and really, I guess for us is trying to figure out what we can add on to this show. But yeah, our first 5 episodes were something, I think, we did 4 of them in this home studio, with the last one being with Ethan
and then,
in his apartment.
His apartment when he was living here, and then that next one was the game changer.
The next one,
that was the game changer.
Now this. As much as we joke, the Pocket Elephant Show is the history. The big turning point, I think, if you look through our YouTube, is Decon episode 6. Kind of just hit us up out of the blue, and I guess he saw some value in us sitting in other people's houses talking shit.
Yeah.
But this beginning's awesome, bro.
Nick from On the Moon.
So Decon rented out On the Moon for us to make his episode look real good. Because, we didn't have the resources to, you know, make our stuff look pretty. We were just kind of trying to put on a show.
Ooh, look at that.
But that handstand, bro, that was well worth the price of admission.
And shout out Nick. He treated us well for, you know, for us being somebody that was so new to the scene. I remember when me and Dev walked into one of our interns, we were freaking out, and then like you too, we were like blown away, mind blown by what we're seeing. I've never been in a studio like that ever, so it was just crazy to me.
On the Moon was definitely an experience. It was kind of, you know, it was just kind of like a big step up that we never thought we'd even touch in our first year. And mind you, not even the first 10 episodes. And so, you know, without Decon. Or Deacon.
That's my
shout
boy.
out Deacon. That's another.
He's also another friend of mine.
Another artist.
Yeah.
Clever bars. Anyways.
Yeah.
That's another conversation. But Decon, honestly, if he didn't kind of go out of his way to, you know, run out On the Moon and, you know, kind of give us that step up, I mean, this show really wouldn't be what it is. We still be in the back rooms to this day, you know, to be honest with you. But that kind of really helped us, I guess, hone in on our content, because really it was production values, always kind of the biggest challenge for being a startup. You know, it's like we bought our own stuff. You know, it was all stuff that you bought off Sweetwater.
Yeah.
It was stuff you're using for recording.
Yeah, I didn't even have like an audio interface at the time, and I was like getting one, like right when we filmed the episode with Decon, and it was just like, it was so weird because we were ready to get our own stuff, and then that was just like, it really was just game changer.
Yeah, because then we like our audio was on point.
Crisp.
Because it was a whole music studio, so why not? So yeah, that was a real big turning point. And then to be honest, like after that episode, the show kind of had a panic. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
We kind of
I think
outdid ourselves.
Yeah, whenever we exited the studio, I think me, you, and Dev like looked at each other and we were like, we need to step our production game up. We can't go back to just a dinky back room with an iPhone set up on a box and record like with some bad audio. We definitely needed to upgrade, and we were scrambling. I remember we were really scrambling.
It was real tough, and we kind of took a break because mainly finals was a big thing, but that kind of gave us some time to regroup and figure out what the hell we're going to do next. Because like I said, we outdid ourselves, and it's like, how do you come back from that? It's like, we've set the bar for ourselves higher, and it's like we definitely can't return lower. And that's funny enough where D-Con and 519 come to the rescue.
Yeah.
He met one of the big bosses here.
Yeah.
Just kind of caught him when he was walking down Central. He called me, D-Con, because we were still talking, and after the fact, he was just kind of episode production stuff. But he was like, "Hey, I found this studio. Not a lot of people are using it," and we kind of just moved forward from there. Got set up here, and 519. Hey,
Ooh, man, yeah.
Much love.
I was gonna say,
these guys helped us kind of overcome that hurdle of where to go next on the production side, and then alleviate our worries about production value. We got all the equipment here, and the fact that it's a public resource is great. That the city of Albuquerque is willing to put together a facility like this for local content, because it really kind of allows people that don't have the resources but have the passion, the drive, and the content to have a place to work. And like I said, 519, y'all saved our lives.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Mark.
Yeah, shout out Mark as well.
Best character on the show.
Best character on the show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, and then we started just rolling.
I think there's a lot of people we could thank. Like, there's so many people that along our journey that we could thank. Anybody that's ever been on a show, anybody that's introduced us to other artists, anybody that's helped us get to where we are. Like as we say, this is the Pocket Elephant Show, but it's also the D-Con Show. It's also the Edgar Wonder Show, because that was our first real episode here. Two-Man Embassy Show. It's also everybody's show. Like it's really, we really have to be thankful for all these people, because without them, I don't know. Yeah, this is
could have killed us from there.
But we can't go into that right now, but I know what you're saying.
Shout out Busy Bone.
Busy Bone, yeah. Shout out Busy Bone.
That's a good rant. That's also for another day.
Yes.
But yeah, I think a great story from working here is Sade Munira.
Yeah.
Rolling in with the crew out of nowhere.
Oh man, yeah.
Didn't tell us about it.
Yeah, that you gave Miko a heart attack. Miko was so scared.
We were. This was about a third episode in here.
Yeah.
We're still pretty new to working here, and we got a memo that said, be mindful of your groups. That was kind of the big thing,
because it was still like prime COVID time.
Yeah, things were still very much closed, and that's why a lot of artists did enjoy coming on to the shows, because they hadn't had anywhere to play really, for 2020, at least that back half, so when we came on in, and so everything was still closed, so we have to be mindful of our COVID groups, and literally we get Sade Munira on, who, by the way, very popular. A lot of people said she's the one that you want to get on if you really want to kind of get a real local on, which was great. After I met Rio Grande Studios, Kenny Riley. That's another big shout out.
Yeah.
Who really kind of gave us guidance on who was in the scene and who to talk to. But once we kind of got her on, brought her in, she didn't really tell us she was bringing a whole band because we thought she was going to solo set it, which was whatever.
Yeah.
But literally till like the day of, we didn't figure out till the day before on a Instagram story.
Yeah.
Because she said they were rehearsing, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. I was.
She brought in a band, she brought in a photographer, and like I said, if it was, any other time where, we weren't being hounded for, group sizes, I was just worried Tim Keller was kicking in the door when we're done, that kind of thing. But honestly, hey, Tim spared us, and it was a great episode, honestly.
Yeah, it worked out.
It worked out great as I guess I'll just say straight up scared because I didn't expect all these people.
You were terrified. I've never seen Miko so stress-filled, like, in a long time. Like, he was terrified.
I mean, we weren't used to people bringing in bands yet.
It's
so,
true,
now it's, just another day at the office. But I think back then, under the circumstances, I was like, I didn't know how strict guidelines were, but, we kind of figured it out. Studio, had its guidelines, worked with us. Once again, 519, saving lives, especially my blood pressure.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great one. I mean, there's homeless people that roll up sometimes.
It's Albuquerque.
We need to get Mark on one of these episodes.
We do need to get Mark to tell us a story because Mark has some good stories.
But yeah, there's been some fun moments here. We'll get to that later in the show. And really, I think as we've really been able to, just focus on the content, and that's been the real kind of blessing of being able to work in a place like this. And really, we kept making episodes for, we're still making episodes now. But really, it was kind of this last summer was a big one where Producers Pit Community Night. I think that was one of the big milestones that we never thought we'd hit.
Yeah.
Mark, pull that picture up because that's a good one.
Yeah.
But while he's doing that, it was honestly a milestone. I mean, look at that. We had a fantastic lineup of former and
pure talent,
soon-to-be guests, pure talent. Damien killed it, bro. We put him up there, and he blew everyone away. They were very surprised by your work.
Yeah, so. I mean, it was. We were talking about this. It was as perfect as our first event could have went. Yeah, it was perfect to us. I think.
I mean, we had a lot of backing. We had Monsoon Music House. We had, all the artists that came on and we work with. I mean, really, it was. We never thought we'd get an event in. In this first year, and I think that's a very big thing that kind of showed us what we can do as a show, and kind of what people are that people are willing to come together and do something fantastic, because like I said, we were only a very small part of that, and so that was just a big milestone, really. And like I said, speechless. I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah.
The only hard part was the day after, because we had to film Scorpio season.
Oh yeah. No, I feel like it was okay.
It was a crazy night.
I think the only tough part was it was raining on the outside, and then we had to move inside.
That's true. But
it worked out perfect still.
It did work out. I was crazy. You work with Monsoon Music House, and you get rained on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You should have known what we signed up for.
Yeah.
But yeah, having to move in all our stuff inside because it started raining all crazy. But we kind of made the quick switch to move the event inside. We had vendors there. We moved them all inside, had a space for them, and I think it worked out well. Honestly, like
La
original
Luna really,
La Luna, big clutch, great space. Love working with them. I hope to do it many more times. To be honest with you, but yeah, I mean, that was I think a big moment where we kind of, after that was done, after the summer was over, we kind of just took a breath and we're like, damn, we did all this,
We did a lot, yeah.
And, I mean, we kind of been out there in the community going to events, hoping to put on more. I think one of my other favorite moments of this year was going on Learning Time.
Yes, I totally agree. if you definitely want the, uncensored us, definitely go check that.
Like the more kind of casual, less professional than this, which you thought we couldn't go lower.
I was gonna say, yeah, this is.
OnlyFans, Pocket Elephant, Arby's. Those are three jokes.
3 jokes.
We got more when we're not kind of in the confines of our show, but learning time was a great time. It's great to kind of go out and, there's a lot of podcasts out here that are starting up and kind of doing their thing, covering local arts. I think 505 on the Rise is a great example where they're kind of going through not just musicians but different artists. There's different figures in the community, but they had some college athletes, local college athletes, which is cool. But it's being able to kind of go on someone else's show and
it's amazing.
Just kind of BS, I guess.
Oh
is,
man,
is a lot of fun.
Yeah, shout out Dan for hosting that.
Learning time's a great concept. Reading out of textbooks, making people do that. We made them read calculus.
Yeah, made them read calculus. Yeah, in a Mike Tyson accent. Yeah, that was good. It was good.
Yeah, but being able to get out there and go on other shows that isn't ours and seeing how people do it and kind of their own concepts on how to run a show is really cool. And so with that being said, any other local shows, if you want,
hit us up.
Hit us up because we'll probably come riff about the same 3 things, but hey, it'll be a good time.
Yeah, it'll be
Learning time's our audition, But that was a good time. Shout out Dan, who has been another crazy, just kind of person who's helped the show out a lot too. He hosted for when Damien got in trouble for smuggling FL across the border.
Hey, what can I say?
He was actually just a guest last week, so I think he's trying to speed run, just doing everything. So he might try to do Mark's job next and just kind of hit the camera, be the cameraman. I mean, he's already got guests and hosts down, so it's like I think he's just trying to get all the crew positions and
then he'll be good. Yeah.
I don't know. He's trying to do the Producers Pit tour, I guess. So definitely big shout out to Dan for being a real one, helping us out a lot and kind of stepping in and just kind of matching our energy. I think he's a real important person, and that's among a long list of very important people that we met this year. And so to kind of close out this chronicle here of this crazy year, it's what's next for this show, and honestly, I think it's just we're in a great position to keep making content, and really it's deciding what to add to the show and kind of how to expand it. We've got some stuff coming up real soon on that. Got a very big segment we're about to add soon, so you'll be seeing that definitely after this episode. We'll be kicking off year 2 with a major expansion. But like Song of the Week's been great. Having people call out other artists, I think, has been such a great way for us to meet others, because you hear your name on this show and you're kind of like, oh, they're talking about me. And it's helped us get other interviews, and it's been a really cool thing. And it just kind of helps us gauge who's around and artists that we never really know about, and really all it takes is you just got to ask. I think another real great one is This or That.
Yeah,
that's been a great addition.
Yeah, I think also shout out Dan.
You stole that from
I definitely
Time, maybe.
didn't steal it. I borrowed it from Learning Time podcast, actually. Yeah, but don't sue me, Dan. Yeah, but it's a great segment.
But yeah, no, that's kind of just what it is. We're still gonna kind of just figure out new stuff to do, bring on more artists, because really, I think maintaining our current path of putting the stories of the artist out is really the name of the game for us. And they're all kind of maybe our interviews might follow the same format here and there. We do like to kind of shake things up depending on how much Nardwuar information we get on
very
people.
true, very true.
But mainly, our main structure is just getting, who they are and the kind of music they make, and just insight into that. And really, it's all different. And I think that's one of the big things some of these interviews have showed us is that, every guest is unique in their own way, and just there's a different energy, and we kind of let the guest, their, energy, personality kind of take over
Yeah.
that
Very true.
the episode, and so we've gotten some very different interview vibes, which we'll also get into later in the show. But anyways, that concludes our history lesson. There will be a pop quiz. This is worth 40% of your grade.
Oh my lord, 40%.
This is also the final exam, actually. Too. And extra credit, 1 page, double spaced, Times New Roman, 12-point font, MLA format, cite your sources. That's your extra credit paper. So.
I better get started working right now.
It's due next Friday on my desk. This desk right
That's
here.
reasonable.
Yeah. No, you get a week. I know you got other classes. There's some teachers that don't understand.
Yeah, they don't understand that.
Shout out. I'm not going to say
There's a
any
lot.
other professors because
there's a lot of names.
Well, that's another episode.
Yeah.
We'll get the academia folks in there. Professors, comment down below if you want to be on. But anyways, thanks for sitting through it. We got some more fun stuff coming up. But first, let's take a break. We'll be back. And you are back for the Producers Pit Anniversary Special. Coming at you next is a couple top 5 lists that we've got, some of our favorites across the year. So we're going to split it up into 2 top 5 sections. So for this first section, we're going to do our favorite songs. Mm-hmm. So top 5 of the Song of the Week playlist, and then our top 5 local picks. So we'll just kind of go from, we got some mentions. We'll start off with mentions, and then we'll go down our lists, given our 5 together, our 4 together, so on and so forth. So let's start with Song of the Week, our conventional playlist. We didn't do any mentions for this one, but there was a lot of good stuff. So starting with number 5, I guess I'll let you go first, Damien. What's your number 5?
All right, my number 5 is Saucy by Polyphia. It's one of the ones that I recommended, and man, that song's good. It's definitely like good instrumental rock. Like definitely, if you haven't checked that out yet, go check that out. All
right. And for myself, my number 5 is one that kind of surprised. I thought it was, I was getting memed on, but they were serious, and honestly, I mean, they're passionate about it. Walker Cass dropped All Star by Smash Mouth. That was a suggestion I did not expect, and then they proceeded during their sound check to hit that song.
Yeah.
And if there was a list for best sound checks, Walker Cass wins it number 1.
Yep.
Because that was impressive.
Yeah, they killed that.
All right, let's move it on to our number 4. What do you got, Damien?
I got Young Lost Love by Appleby. It's a song by Elliot Blue way back in the day, or Meraki as he was known. It was like our, 4th episode? 5th episode?
He recommended that one.
Yeah, that song's super smooth. I mean, I just put that in my playlist. Definitely been jamming out to that.
Awesome. My number 4. This one, and really I think my top 5 is a lot of things that surprised me for the most part. But this one is courtesy of D. Brown, Extra by Lucky Day. That one was a real soulful jam, and I was just kind of listening to the playlist on shuffle. That one came up, and I was like, God dang, D, man's got some good taste based off that one. So great track on this one.
Yeah.
All right, what about
number 3?
Number 3. Burger King foot lettuce.
So, as far as my number 3 goes, it's courtesy of Dan from the Learning Time podcast. It was whenever I wasn't here because the charges. Nice. He recommended Ascend by Blood From Within. Man, that is some good metal. Good metal. I mean, go ahead and put that on if you want to rage. That's some good shit.
Awesome. I'm going to go in a complete opposite direction. A real chill hit from Tristan of Two Man Embassy, if I'm correct. Or it was Brad. Or it could have been Blake.
Blake, yeah.
Blake was very talkative that episode. But Into Me by Chromanichi. Very catchy, very funky. I ended up playing that one on repeat for a second there after that episode, and I still found myself coming back to that here and there. But that's one that really kind of floored me too, and I love jamming out to that one. So, all right, let's keep it going. Number two.
I actually put D Brown's recommendation on there too. Lucky Day is one of my favorite artists right now. He's a great R&B artist. I think he actually just released a song, but Extra by Lucky Day. I mean, absolutely, like you said, soulful R&B hit. I mean, he's one of my favorite artists right now. So, yeah, fantastic.
Awesome. Another point for Lucky Day. I mean, that's a great one. Number 2 for me was a small techno artist by the name of Caris that really surprised me when I was looking around for some good synth music on the internet. Hailing from France, Alive. That's probably one of my just favorite songs of this year. I mean, real just kind of like upbeat, but also kind of melancholy at the same time. Really has a good range of emotions. I believe the album's title SOS was just great. I mean, that whole just album's got some great hits on there. So, Alive by Caris, definitely one of my top 2. And so now the most important.
Number 1, yeah.
Number one.
Number one. All right, so my number 1 was special to me because it was the very first song of the week. That's Wait by Redville. I mean, a fantastic hip-hop jam. I mean, like, super low-key artist at the time, and whenever I recommended him, I was like, yeah, now he's popping off, so glad for him. Also, like I said, first song of the week recommendation, so it was really special, so go check that out.
That is indeed. If I had honorable mentions written, I think Wait would definitely be on there. That was, like I said, it's a very special one.
Yeah.
You start that playlist from the very top, and that's the one that welcomes you, and then you get hit by Rock Me Amadeus right after that fucking Eight Adventures on that playlist. It is an adventure, yeah. But as for myself, number 1, this song I still listen to repeatedly. It is just, it rocks, man. Judge Bitch, Vandal, man, that song really has like taken over my life. I said on Scorpio season it had, and that wasn't hyperbole. I still listen to it to this day. I mean, that guitar that old Judge Bitch rolls on there is just, it shreds. It goes hard. Patriot's another song on that album. I think it's called Gold Blood or something like that. Real good stuff. Vandal, it hasn't shaken my what's it called, my on repeat. It's been on the on repeat playlist on Spotify ever since I found out about it. So that's definitely my number 1 there. So song of the week, great stuff.
Yeah.
An adventure. Let's get into the local picks now.
Picks, yeah.
When we started talking local, I think it's very tough. There's a lot of good music out there, and shaving it down to 5 is near impossible. And I don't know how we did it. I stayed up all night thinking, is this the list I want to go with? But we've had some great recommendations, from ourselves, from our guests. And so I'm going to start off with some mentions here from myself personally. First off, Fortress by Rylan Oz. One of the best off of Summertime, in my opinion. It's just great vibe. Rylan's got his flow really shines there. I mean, he's got a great flow all around, but if you really want like one of the definitive examples of how well his flow is, Fortress is definitely it. After Party by Burn the Disco.
True.
That's another great. I mean, I think I recommended 2 Burn the Disco songs that week when I threw him on there, but great just kind of bounce club music that hasn't really been part of been made in the techno scene all that much. It's good to see that stuff kind of still being made and doing a comeback. But great stuff, man. After Party just gets you jumping. And then lastly, now if we were talking best albums, if we had a best albums top 5, this would definitely be probably number 1 for both of us, like a unanimous. But as far as, the title track goes, The Real by Kali Soul and Z the Author, I mean, that whole project is probably one of the best. But as you know, the song is good, man. Y'all killed it, but there were some other songs it hurts to have to pick some other songs over that because the real was just so damn good. I mean, you guys went all out and yeah, anyways, let's get into some number 5, into the top 5. So number 5, Dame.
Number 5, can I do little mentions
Oh
first?
yeah, hit some mentions
Obviously,
real quick. Yeah.
let's mention Micah Thunder. Let's mention The Rhythms. Cy Montero. Great music all around. Definitely go check them out.
Cy Montero, No Name's another mention. I'm going to pencil in right quick too because that one I still listen to quite a bit. That's a very, very great, you guys really bring a good energy to that track. And like I said, that solo still slaps.
Oh, yeah, 100%. All right. Yeah, now let's jump into top 5. So as far as my number 5 goes, I'm going to go ahead and go Callejero, Felix y los Gatos. Fire song. Absolutely fire. I recommended that, I don't remember what episode. But regardless, song is just such a Latin banger. Like, it's absolutely amazing.
Top tier.
Yeah, top tier.
My number 5. And this is kind of, like I said, we're still trying to figure out who's who in the scene. And this is right after I met Kenny Riley. And Again by Munira. I think if there's a song that really kind of I'd like to experience for the first time again, And Again is definitely up there. Really kind of was my introduction to Munira's music. And I mean, I haven't looked back since. Great song. And honestly, it's a staple of her library, and like I said, fantastic. I mean, I wish I could listen to that the first time again because it's just that much of an experience. And again. I kept listening and again this year. So let's move on to number 4. Is what you got, Damien?
I got Rush Hour by the Red Panda. Oh man, whenever he dropped this, I remember it was really the first song I heard from him, and man, I didn't know what I was expecting. I knew Jordan, he was a young kid and this and that, and we barely met him at the time. And when he dropped that, I was said, this dude's this good at that young? I was like, that's crazy. No, shout out the Red Panda. He's fantastic.
Crazy, man. I mean, Rush Hour was a hit, but I think even his earliest stuff are just produced very well. And like I said, for what his floor is right now, like as an artist, is just insane, and I honestly am excited to see where he goes from here. Yep. Which I know he is on a video game soundtrack for Tori 2.
Yeah,
we're going to be looking to check that game out when that drops. But I mean, his music's just so well made, and for just how young he is. And, I mean, dude,
mind blowing.
One of the biggest up and comers, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Out here. My number 4 though goes to Electric Desert by Colton Forrest Hardy. What an album, but what a just intro to that album. I mean, Electric Desert is just like, that's a movie soundtrack type, just like, it could be the title track to a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Really, that's just how, that's the energy it got. It's upbeat. I mean, Colton Forrest Hardy's another guy with rock star energy. And he can play, he can sing, and just seeing this one live too, man, is just a great experience. I think that's the first time I heard this song was live, and God dang, it was fantastic. No matter how you hear it, Electric Desert just is, I mean, it captures what the title is. I mean, there's not much more to say there.
Number 3.
Number 3.
All right, so the funny thing you mentioned Electric Desert, because that's actually my number 3. It's banger. I mean, come on, like, you're right. It's so cinematic. It could be literally the title track of a movie, like feature film. Absolutely amazing. Like you said, he's a rock star. Yeah.
I'm about to say, we do miss having you out here, Colton. I know
we do.
You out in Texas, but hey, come by, visit, get on the show, because I say you kill it. My number 3 goes to Felix y los Gatos. Callejero. I failed Spanish. So, anyways, when Damien put that one in, I knew about Felix, but I really hadn't heard much of his music. I heard a lot of good things about him, but I threw that on when that came in, and that blew me away, man. I mean, that really is like a Latin jam. That's going in the Latin jam playlist. Certified Bodio classic instead of hood classic.
Yeah, true. That is true. That is true.
But fantastic song. I mean, I think Damien said the bulk of what needed to be said. Number two.
Number two. Okay.
Number two.
So, you had this in your mentions, but man, I can't get off of it. I'm such a sucker for hip hop, and I'm such a sucker for good, solid, like foundation of hip hop that's just like done right, and that's what they did on The Real. And The Real by ZD Author and Kali Soul is just something like you said, that whole album would be top place if we were doing rankings of albums. But man, the title track, absolutely fire. I mean, there's not a lot you could say about it. You listen to it, sounds amazing in your ears, and you know, it's just great hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, I think the crazy part too is the production side. I mean, they had Kalen Ellis on it, but who also really shines is Kali himself. He's a great producer.
Yeah, very true.
That's what that project, I think, really shows for, you know, I mean, Z and Kali are already great rappers on their own, but I think, you know, they were able to showcase some other musical skills that, you know, people haven't exactly, you know, seen in full swing. And I think this really is, like I said, I think Kali did pretty well with hanging with Kalen on the production side. I mean, you can definitely tell who's producing what if you kind of listen deep.
Yeah,
I mean,
Kalen Ellis has his like sound. You could tell his kicks and his like all of his productions, but so does Kali.
Yeah,
and Kali is definitely, like you said, he hangs with them.
Yeah,
they're both great. I mean, fantastic tape. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out.
Yeah, no, The Real was, like I said, can't say more good stuff about it because there's just.
Oh, put it on Apple Music, by the way. Kali or Z, put that on Apple Music.
That's true. Spotify gang, rise up.
Yeah.
Anyways, my number two. This one of the catchiest of the year, in my opinion. Couldn't get it out of my head when I heard it live, when I heard it when it first dropped, and actually when I got an exclusive preview at Songshare from Scorpio Season.
True.
My boy Armando gave me a little sneak peek listen. No inches in between, man. If you want to talk about a throwback to another era of music, that's it. Done very well. I mean, the cover for it, they got the whole just 80s pop aesthetic just down pat. Yeah. It's catchy. They go all out. I mean, that guitar solo is probably one of the best of the year, in my opinion, from what I've heard. And they even got guitarists who can shred it live. I mean, the live bands are insane. I mean, Scorpio Season out there, Florida man and woman doing big things.
Yeah.
But No Inches in Between is on it. Like I said, it was going to be a Scorpio Season song. It was just at number 2, but it was a matter of which one. I mean, I love y'all's music.
Oh, yeah.
Much love, Scorpio Season.
Oh, yeah. Definitely sending love to them. I mean, fantastic. I have not heard a bad Scorpio Season song. It's true.
That's very true. I mean, even the earliest stuff was an NPR Tiny Desk finalist.
I know. It's pretty impressive.
Now, the big one. What's our favorite local picks?
I think we both have the same one, which is crazy.
All right.
So I'm going to go first. My favorite, which I still listen to today, Love in Suspension by Ez Rock. What a song. I mean, like, if I was to pick a perfect song, like, in this world, like, that's it. Like, that's it. Like, I would say there's no flaws in that song. There's nothing at all. Ez Rock does his thing. The feature is amazing. And it's just beautiful. Beautiful production, beautiful vocals, beautiful everything.
Yes, Damien is correct. The unanimous number 1, this is also mine, is indeed Love in Suspension. Honestly, the guitar solo is something I just pops in my head just randomly every so often. It was that good. It has stuck with me ever since I first heard it. I think it was probably live.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was when we first met him at Ancora, or if it was when he came in. But man, Love in Suspension. You're right. I mean, everything is just going for it, and like I say, you want to see Ezra going on all cylinders and just in his element. I mean, when he performed it here live, watching him just hit that solo
it's
and
insane.
just a whole band in harmony, just going like, it's really like an experience,
Oh
man.
yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
you know, I do feel like Ezra needs a little bit more love in the scene here. I feel like he kind of slips under the radar in some places. But this guy is crazy, man. Rockstar energy, crypto rockstar too,
Crypto rockstar, true.
as we were saying.
Yeah.
But really, yeah. If we were to say what's the best, what's really stuck with us, Love and Suspension,
Yeah,
man.
it really has.
It's an experience.
Mhm.
Well, those are our favorite song picks this year. I mean, hit the comments, tell us what we're wrong about. You know, I know people got some very strong
Oh.
opinions when it comes to music, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, that's just kind of this list is how we feel personally. Everyone's different, music's subjective, but you know,
Very true.
hey, if you got some top fives you want to throw in yourself, go ahead, let us know what it was, because you know, it was a lot of good stuff this year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to check out these playlists, if you haven't, at producers_pit on Spotify, or you can find it if you follow our Instagram at the same handle. There will be a link to take you to those. But yeah, both those playlists are on there. Like we constantly say, it's an experience, and you get to kind of find our favorite picks in there, see what you think about our favorites, and maybe find some of your own favorites out of this great year in music. So I guess that's about it for our favorite song picks. We got more coming to you on this show. There's a lot going
There's a
on.
lot,
The
yeah.
specials popping, so
It is.
let's take a break. We'll be right back. And you are back with the Producers Pit Anniversary Special. We've been going through a lot today, a lot of history, a lot of just shenanigans in general. So we got some more top fives. This time it's going to be show related. So our categories are our favorite performances, our favorite interviews, and our favorite moments of the show. There was a lot this year.
It was hard.
This was one of the toughest.
This
I
is
mean,
tough.
every episode was unique. Every episode was great. And like I said, we'd love to get top 10s, but we would have been here forever. And we're already going pretty crazy right now. So let's start with performances. Right off the bat, let me start with some mentions. Kali Soul Z, the author,
Yep.
they came in and did it like in one take.
Yeah,
That
crazy.
was cool.
Crazy.
Munira,
Yep.
all-star gang up there. Great job. Gave me a heart attack, but hey, it was worth it. The payoff, it was great. Waka Cass is another good one. Fantastic. Like I said, best soundtrack in the game. Y'all went crazy together, and shout out the boy Isaac from last episode.
True.
Killed it on drums.
Yeah,
I mean,
really did.
all right. What about your mentions, Dane?
Same like you. ZD author, Kali Soul. I mean, fantastic. Like you said, it was crazy. They came in here out on a limb and killed it. First take, first try, as they say, as Dude Perfect says. You know, like you said, Munira, fantastic. I mean, if I could see Munira play like every weekend, I would, because her band's amazing. Very good vocalist. I mean, she kills it every single time. Then Scorpio season for me. I mean, that was crazy. Their new song just dropped, and that was like the second time that we saw them perform it. Absolutely stunning. Everybody killed it in the band. It was great.
All right, let's get into our number fives here. So,
Number
Damien.
5. Okay. So I went with D Brown. D Brown, that performance was absolutely unbelievable. D Brown has such good content within his music, and the way he carries himself on stage is amazing. Also, he only does paid gigs, and we kind of finessed it a little bit. Arthur killed it. And then who else was playing? Yak killed it. And obviously Paul Palmer. Yeah, and obviously, like we mentioned earlier, Arthur had amazing pedal, the foot pedals, which were blowing our minds, and especially as a guitarist, you're like, wow, that's crazy.
Well,
Like
that man
guitarist,
had-
bassist,
yeah.
you know. But yeah, D Brown killed it, absolutely amazing. Yeah.
All right, my number 5. Let's go. Rakim Al-Noor. One of the most energetic performers we've had on, man. He was going crazy, bouncing around. He tired himself out. I mean, man. And considering that he is very notorious for breaking shit, and our studio came out unscathed, hey, I consider that a big W.
Big win, yeah.
Big win. I think we're the only venue that hasn't had someone broken by Rakim, but that dude's crazy, man. Great rapper, great energy, and he was just fun to watch out there, man.
100%.
All right, let's move it on. Number 4.
So I went OG. First performance we ever had on the show, Edgar Wonder.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
man.
an OG.
I think whenever Edgar performed, it was mind-blowing to me at the time because I wasn't in the state of seeing people perform live. And I never saw someone like really sit down and just do an acoustic set like that. And man, he killed it every single song. Vocals were great. That dude he's a pure musician, pure talent. Absolutely killed it.
And the best part is we were about to put him on the spot and make him perform as like a thing for the show.
Like a
and
joke.
He was but he like came in with his own guitar.
Yeah.
And he was like already ready. So like the fact that he just this was kind of like impromptu, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
it was.
like that's why it's so impressive.
Yeah.
And definitely deserving of being on one of these top 5 lists for sure.
100%.
My number 4, of course, I'll give it to D Brown. Again, I mean, I think what made D Brown very unique was the fact that he brought such a different energy. I think we had a lot more either offbeat or chill stuff, but he brought a more melancholy tone.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, it was a good change of pace, and it was just some kind of good stuff, some stuff that was really from the heart from D Brown. So,
Very true.
like you said, he
Oh,
only does paid gigs. We got the homie hooked up. But
Look, you know. Shout out D Brown and Dat Yak. Go
Yeah.
check them out. They're playing everywhere.
I know
They are.
they're going crazy all around town. There's a situation, but there's always D Brown. So,
Very true.
but yeah, very very impressive. Very great change of pace. Number 3. Let's
man.
go.
So my number 3 goes to Jay Scribe. I've always heard about Jay Scribe and like being a rapper in the scene, and you know, him. I was expecting, you know, rappers, you expect backtracks. You expect people to rap with backtracks and stuff like that. He carried himself in such a way on stage that was just beautiful. I mean, he has great energy, great camera interaction, and the dude rapped. He rapped good too, and he even like messed up at one point, which I think it sounded good. And he was like, "All right, I'm gonna do the whole take again." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Wow, this dude is he's a real musician." You know, shout out Jay Scribe.
Yeah, no, Jay Scribe, I mean, great up and comer. I mean, he's a young guy. I mean, like I said, I think he had his own business and he wasn't even out of high school. So, you know, he's got a
crazy talented.
He's got a great career ahead of him, man. That's for sure. So, Jay Scribe, you go crazy, man.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me, though, Scorpio Season, man. Very impressive. They wanted to do more takes, but they showed up late. You know, that's
it's okay.
a show business, baby.
Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, I got getting to see them in action. I mean, Zandy really is she's the one who kind of carries the torch, leads the pack in, and you know that whole backing band. I mean, El Gregorio on bass. Carlos, I believe, was the guy on guitar who was, I guess, their backup because Lost in a Memory was their primary who was playing the night before when they were on our event. Great headlining stuff. But even he shredded, man. Yeah. And, of course, Tina on drums. That's kind of where we got to see the legend of her. And, of course, also the boy Alex the Machine was on there, who we've got more to say soon about him. But that was a great performance all around. It was good. They had a nice big sound, and you know, love to see him. And we were very grateful to have him in before they moved to Florida. Yeah. So awesome stuff. Number 2.
Number two. Okay, so for my number 2, you mentioned them in your mentions, but Walker Cast. I mean, they absolutely shut down everywhere they go, everywhere they perform. They silence the room. They are just absolutely just pure talent. Like all three of them, amazing. They all killed it. Vocals are insane. All the songs, insane. I mean, like everything was perfect. I think Walker Cast definitely was one of those out of body experiences type of things for me, because I was sitting there watching them like ascending. Like I was like, whoa, this is so good. Like it was insane.
I agree, man. I mean, they put the siren in Siren Folk, that's for sure. And,
Yeah.
you know, they're always constantly just, you know, trying to get better as musicians. I think Riley said she just barely picked up bass when they came in,
Just
and they were
crazy.
They were fine, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't tell. So I definitely agree. Out of body experience. I think Sade Munir said healing music. And
Yeah, perfect.
I agree. My number 2 though, as rock. Crazy pedal board, crazy equipment, great band. I mean, that's where we first met D Brown, actually.
Yeah.
And then he had one of the coolest drummers who ever came on. I believe his name was JC.
Yeah.
Come in with his shades and then, you know, their bassist too. Just another great band. I mean, that was just an all-star group. And like I said, seeing Love and Suspension live is an experience. Seeing the live version of Panic too was it's very different from the album version, and honestly was like, I think it was probably better than like the album version. Just, you know, they killed it live, man.
Absolutely.
Much love to Ezra, man. Just a true professional, true rock star. We've been saying it this whole time.
I mean, and that goes to my number 1.
Oh,
Ezrock, man. He's a rock star. He's a rock star. Like you said, he's absolutely impressive every single time he gets up on the stage. The band backing him was top tier. I mean, like you said, D Brown is the first time we got introduced to him, JC on drums. And obviously, like, it was just that type of experience where it's out of body. You sit there, you're watching them, and you're like, wow, this is insane. Like I said, you ascend. It's like you ascend. So it's absolutely an honor to see those guys play, as well as anybody else that we had play on the show. I mean, everybody that came on here, there hasn't been somebody that I haven't been impressed by. So
yeah, that's very true. I mean, like I said, it's been tough to shave down just 5.
Yeah, it was really.
Anyways, let's keep it rolling here. My number 1 is a very recent one. That goes to J.D. Nash.
True.
Man, that guy just all around. I enjoy all of his music, every single song. Just I really kind of respond to. And once again, another guy who can just shred, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you do like a band with him and Ez Rock is like dual guitars, man, dude, you gonna burn down the building.
Oh.
His band was fantastic. I believe John was on keys. You had Derek on bass. You had Luke, another drummer who's definitely working with a lot of people and out there too. But you know, we saw him recently play at Sawmill. He's got a residency there right now, and. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
If we're talking some rock star energy, J.D. Nash is also
100%.
up there.
Yeah.
He came in dapper as hell, the hat, the Daisy May, man.
Oh, man, yeah.
J.D. Nash killed it. That's it. All right, let's move on to another very tough topic, and that was our favorite interviews, man.
Yeah, this one
Interviewing everybody who came on has been an absolute honor. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
And our mentions are another top 5 list, essentially.
But yeah, basically.
In no particular order, our mentions are, but let's go into our mentions. Of course, Walker Cass is on my mentions list. I think they were the only really like duo that was able to match our energy. I think we met our match in Walker Cass. Those ladies were able to definitely just come out swinging on the same level.
They definitely
we are.
came out swinging.
It was a great time,
It
though.
was.
It was very
fantastic.
interesting. Their whole story, how they apparently didn't like each other and they became best of friends, was
Crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
2-Man Embassy, another great one. Those guys were just funny all day, man. They were great, though. You know, they had a great balance of humor and you know, telling their story. Another one for me, Jolene O'Larriod, one of the first guests I think that we met ahead of time. And she was kind of there's kind of some awkwardness with some of these artists that we haven't met prior to the show, but we kind of, break the ice and get a bit more comfortable. But Jolyn was one that we met ahead of time, and we were also dressed to the nines for rainy season. That whole kind of process leading up to that release, like her party was the day before for her single release. It was a great time all around. So shout out Jolyn. Another one for me, Joe Pollock, one of the most.
Oof, man.
It's an OG one, but it is a very unique interview.
Yeah, that's really good.
We've never really interviewed anyone who was in the event planning game since, and I think it's one that I always kind of look back to as just being, a whole different perspective of the music side that you just kind of don't get from the musician. And I hope that we get to interview more people who do event planning and such, because I think they have a very interesting perspective. And then last but not least in these mentions, Cowboy Killer. Very interesting story. Very interesting kind of from Ohio to Florida to here. Great story, great guy, and just a fantastic interview overall. All right, what about your mentions?
So my mentions, I got to throw in Elliot Blue. That was one of the ones where I really thought we got it decently rolling, and that was one of the most, that was before the Studio 519 era. That was probably the most impressive one, besides Decon, of course. Joe Pollock was amazing. I thought, like you said, it's just such a different perspective of everything, and it's just so informative what he goes through compared to what the artist goes through. It's super, super cool to listen to. Two Man Embassy, that one's special to me and you probably, because that was really like our first test, because we filmed it, then it got scrapped, then we came back, filmed it again.
We did have some production issues with that.
And we did kill it the second time that we filmed it. And like you said, great humor, great storytelling, absolutely fantastic. Rylan Oz was fantastic. I think, like you said, he balanced humor with storytelling just perfectly too.
He's a rock star in my eyes too, because he took that show within 24 hours notice.
Super rock star move with that,
So much respect to Riley just for 100%. Taking that show on such short notice.
And he came prepared, and
he was fresh off an album release.
And the album was absolutely fantastic too. So, and then percussion special. I mean, we just had this, and it was fun. It was really fun.
Those guys are great, man.
Those guys are absolutely they are so fun to be around, and like you said, storytelling and everything. I just love storytelling behind all these artists and stuff like that. And let's jump into
number 5.
So my number 5 is going to be Decon, which honestly, this is so hard because I wanted to put this number 1 so bad because it was like our first real stepping stone and everything. But you always got to show love to Decon. Decon's the boy. But Decon's episode was absolutely amazing. Like, I was so mind blown by the studio, the venue we got to film in. His stories were insane.
Snuck in with fucking Panic at the
Disco. I was mind blown.
That was funny.
We pulled off our very first prank, I think.
That was in the episode, but that wasn't during the interview.
Yeah, it was during the interview, but and also we had Nick doing handstands, which was fantastic.
Great episode, but no, the interview itself
was
great.
Absolutely fantastic.
My number 5 is going to be Munira. I think just kind of the energy that we go at was so much different than the energy in which she carries herself, and it kind of showed me how special this show is with how many different kind of perspectives we have. She was kind of very, a lot calmer, a lot, to me, I felt like I was like real, overbearing compared to her. She was very kind of chill, but she was, willing to kind of share a lot about herself. And like we said, her bringing in her whole crew gave me a heart attack. But, I kind of calmed down after this, and after we kind of started rolling into it, Sade has been one of my favorite people to interview.
Oh, yeah.
We still need the Munira Latte.
Yeah, still need the K-pop band.
And the K-pop band.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I think she's one of the best friends of this show.
Yeah, I agree.
We've seen her quite a bit live, and, she's always happy to see us. We're always happy to see her. So, great interview, great person, Sade Munira.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to number 4.
All right, so number 4, I'm going to do Jolene's episode, Jolene Alarid. I mean, absolutely, I think this ranks so high for me because this is when we got the ball rolling, in my opinion. I think this is when we're the most comfortable. This is when, you know, when Jolene was the most comfortable, I think, too. Like, we really got into our element. Jolene expressed a lot about herself. We also got some real good Nardware details on her. And I think it was a fantastic interview. I mean, she definitely shared some good stories, good insight about the music, and it was great. I think it was great. Plus, we were dressed to the T, like you said. We were all dressed. Man. We were all dressed good, and you know, it was a fantastic time.
Yeah, very unique interview. I don't think we've ever been dressed up like that since.
Yeah.
She's the only one who's ever requested a dress code. So
True.
Big shout out. My number 4, Wyatt Lawson, man.
Mm-hmm.
He surprised me in the sense that he kept his answers very concise, but he said everything he needed to say. He answered everything well and kind of just was great. And the way he carries himself as an artist is just an energy that I haven't really seen. You know, he kind of knows what he does, what he's capable of, and you know, just kind of how he talks about his artistic process was just such a great insight, and getting to really pick his brain into, you know, what he does is fantastic. Also, I copped that same Astral shirt that he had, because I love that episode so much. But I like talking to Wyatt in general. Like, even when I like just kind of talk to him at some events, like afterwards, I think I saw him like 2 times over the summer. Like, it could have been a whole like podcast episode on top of that. He's just very well spoken, a cool dude, and just an artist, man, you know, in multiple fronts. And he's a real cool guy to be around, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. And number 3, that leads me into mine, Wyatt Lawson. I mean, this was one of our dream ones. We always wanted to get Wyatt on the show. And when we did get him, it was, like you said, he was so articulated with his answers. He knew, like, he knew exactly going, like you said, picking his brain with the process of the multiple art forms that he does. Fantastic. I mean, I remember sitting there listening to him. I was like, just like in awe. I was like, I can sit and listen to a TED Talk by Wyatt. Like, I legit can. He's a fantastic speaker.
I agree.
Like you said, artist on multiple fronts. He's very, very talented.
All right. Well, let's get into my number 3, and that's J.D. Nash. A very recent one, man. That guy's got stories. He's, you know, got many years of just music experience, told us some cool stuff about just kind of what he did. Really kind of rode the same wave that we did. He went along with the jokes. I mean, he just kind of was one of those guys that is, you know, great to just kind of talk to, much kind of like Wyatt, where he, you know, where Wyatt kind of talks about the artistry. JD's just got stories and a passion for music that I think is just something that, you know, he said he gets giddy around local artists, and it's just, he has such a passion for local music that I really haven't seen as hard as, you know, anybody else.
Yeah, it's true.
But, you know, he was a great, you know, he vibed with us. He just great guy, man.
Yeah.
I like talking to JD too at events, and that guy once again is just, man, he's just crazy, man. He's talented, cool guy as well, and just great interview. It was fantastic. I was happy to have him on.
Yep, same here. As far as my number 2, let's move on. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the most chaotic episode we ever filmed. Pocket Elephant and the Red Panda. Wow, man. That was a chaotic episode, but it was so good. I mean, it was so crazy how we kept it so chaotic, and like the stories were so unmatched for like anything, in my opinion, because the way they just like the way they carry themselves, the way they articulate themselves is much the opposite way of Wyatt. It's like they're very expressive with like a lot of like their storytelling, and it was great, fantastic. I learned a lot about them, a lot about the music. I mean, and we knew them even before, and I learned even more about them.
I mean, they were both on the show in the old days, and we kind of wanted to give them their you know, a proper episode. So we kind of invited them both back in. That one's definitely an underrated episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Not too many people watch that one, which makes me really sad because, yeah, we've had him on before, but this was such a different episode, and them in the same room was just
it was great,
man.
Chaotic energy all around.
Very chaotic.
Yeah,
great time. For me, my number 2 goes to D Brown, and D Brown's probably one of my favorite episodes just overall all year. But his interview was very good. It's another one of those people where, you know, he's kind of out there doing his thing, and a lot of people, you know, respect him, and, you know, he kind of carries himself in a way where, you know, you're just like, dang, that guy is, he goes crazy. He's very talented. And, you know, he's, like I said, opposite of Pocket Elephant and Panda. Not too expressive, but in this interview, we really kind of got to break the ice with him and kind of figure out who he was as a person. Got him talking a lot more than, you know, I would have thought he was. Because, you know, he seems like he's a bit of a quieter guy sometimes, kind of out there in events. But getting to, once again, to pick his brain and what he's doing and get him, you know, smiling, laughing, really talk about his, you know, his old projects, like that old gospel album and Arby's, bro, with Jay Scriber's nephew. I mean, you know, there's that connection there. Like, D Brown is, you know, is a story that I don't think a lot of people know about, you know, who he is past the music side, and getting to really know all of that was something that I'm happy we did this year. And D Brown is just a very, you know, unique dude, you know. Yeah. He's a one of a kind, in my opinion. I don't think I'm ever going to meet anyone like him.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with that.
All right, hit your number 1.
So my number 1, JD Nash. I mean, I think that episode was just so perfect. Like, it just went perfect in a way where JD just expressed himself in such a very delightful way. Such a joy to talk to, and like all of his stories were fantastic. Like you said, he's a story man, and you could sit there and listen to him tell stories of stories and stories, and you will never get bored because that man is very, very, very interesting, and he delved in a lot about the music too, and I think it was great. And that was also, I think, the first or second time we did this or that, which was great too. I mean, like, and that really helped us, you know, learn about him a lot more. It was great. It was fantastic.
The other thing about JD too, I should mention, is that I think this is one of the guests where I wanted him on more for his conversational skills first, because I heard him play the first night I met him, but I talked to him a bit more, and I'm like, man, this gotta be crazy to have on the show, because he was just great to talk to. And then as I got to hear him play more and more, it was like, man, this guy's
he's
everything, man. He's everything you want. Number 1 for me, and take no offense to this one, Dave. I know you weren't here for this, but it's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me.
As Lucas said earlier, I'm close to being fired anyways.
No, but Kali Soul and Z, the author, had, I think, an interview that was the funniest, man. That's really what it is. Based off of these two guys in the same room, how well they're great friends. They just kind of play off each other's energy. They're almost like having another host duo in the building with how funny they were, man. And I mean, they influenced the show with the Arby's jokes, man.
Oh yeah.
That's something that we're still struggling to shake right now. And you know, these guys were just so, you know, energetic, so passionate about their craft, and just funny, man. You know, they don't take themselves too seriously, but you know, they get it done, man. They clearly love what they're doing. They have fun with it, and you know, Dan did a fantastic job filling in. He had some crazy questions that got him talking, but like I said, I'm real sad you weren't here for that. You know, don't smuggle.
Dan killed that. It was fantastic. Great interview. Yeah.
But that was one of my favorite interviews. I was laughing the whole time, man. Had me in stitches, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get to our top 5 moments of the show. There's been a lot of fun stuff too that's happened, and so this is a fun category to round out our top 5s. So my mentions, first off, will be bringing up Tyler Brandon to Joe Lynn after that match on Tinder. That was funny. She did not expect that one.
Yeah.
And it was fun watching her reaction. And funny enough, the jokes about that turned out to be how Scorpio season met.
Man,
They matched
yeah,
on
it
Tinder.
was just crazy.
So crazy stuff there. Wyatt's Beat Challenge is another one where we told him to put one of his paintings into music, and he did that very well. And he was like, "Oh, this is pretty rough," and I'm like, "It sounds fantastic."
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've been talking about it a bit. Nick's handstands from our On the Moon episode. That was just something fun that I didn't expect walking into there. And yeah, man, Nick's crazy. So let's get, you got mentions.
I got some mentions. I like
moments.
I think some of the moments include when I think the percussion special, I asked them a question, and Dan goes, "Good question," and then they just don't talk. I was like, "What's going on?" That was hilarious. Superman Rylan Oz. I mean, fantastic.
That cape was dope, man.
It's like, my cousin came up to you. He was like, "Yeah, I like the Superman dude that you guys had on."
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Of course, OG one. We talked about the SoundCloud rappers and specifically the Launchpad story. And shout out those rappers. No hatred towards you guys at all. We hear you guys. We see you guys doing better.
That's what it was.
Jam Spot. My bad.
Yeah.
We see you guys doing better. Shout out you
Hey,
boys.
we got our first hate on episode 1, so be off of that story. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's a great story we told on Learning Time too. It's just, it's one of those you just ain't gonna forget it, man. It's a unique experience.
100%. Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
So let's talk about your number 5.
All right,
then.
number 5, man. There's way too many to choose from, but I think having Alex the Machine on the show for multiple shows is pretty special. I mean, like we said, that man.
I mean, look, he was on the Munira
he's
show.
on the Munira show right there. He was also on Scorpio season.
Well, he was on he was on Munira's lineup on the
Scorpio season.
Scorpio or
Community Night.
Community Night.
Yeah.
And then the day after comes in and plays with Scorpio.
Yeah, and
season.
he comes in and plays with Scorpio season. And not only that, he played 4 other shows that night or something.
Yeah.
Was it 4 or 5 shows that night?
I think it was like 2 or 3 shows before ours, and then he was playing before he got to our studio to play with Scorpio season. And then, I mean, he plays keys and sax, man. We call that man the Machine. I mean, literally, he just keeps playing gigs.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's just crazy good.
Yeah,
so that's a figure in the music community that people kind of don't really talk about all that much. But Alex, that dude's crazy.
Yeah, fantastic. So talented.
But yeah, he just keeps on going. The Machine, man. Start calling him that if you see him out on that, because that's a well-deserved nickname, man. My number 5 was the when we had Pocket Elephant and Red Panda make beats imitating each other. That was very impressive.
That
whole segment is something worth going to that show just to see. And they really got their styles. Like they knew each other pretty well, and so they worked on some stuff together, and really like they were able to imitate each other like flawlessly. Like you couldn't tell. I mean, if you really listened, you could hear their influence, like their own styles in those pieces. But like it was
crazy.
It was something else, man. So yeah, let's move on to number 4.
Number 4. I put this in because I couldn't get this out of my mind. The Rakim Al-Noor show, the role he did on stage was absolutely insane.
I was about to say, I think we got that on tap.
We definitely got that.
Let's run that.
Whenever he pulled that off, crazy. I know I was freaking out a little bit whenever he did that. Yeah, look at this. The most energy we've ever had on the producer.
Look at that.
Whoa. Hey, that's so hard. Hey, shout out Rakim, bro. Hey, he killed that. Definitely was the top moment on the show for me.
Rakim, that role was probably the reason why you cracked the top 5 list for performances. Man. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
My number 4 is a classic, man. That is when we pranked Cowboy Killer with Pocket Elephant. Let's run that whole clip there for everyone here.
Hell yeah, this one. Yeah. We had him coming with Nerf guns. Look at that.
Yeah, Nerf gun.
I was ready.
I was dressed like
I thought it was going to be a midget.
Rancher.
I thought it was going to be a midget. So keep the
See, I didn't get the dress code down.
Yeah, you want to? I was kind of impromptu, so I was
You see, you're knocking shit over.
No.
But yeah, that one was was just funny because we like kind of messing with our guests sometimes, telling them something crazy is gonna happen,
Yeah.
and we don't have the resources to do that. To be honest, that's a trick. That's how you beat the
That is-
producer's pit.
that is true.
Until we get a giraffe in here, it's over.
Yeah,
But we had Pablo on the week before, said, hey, you know, Cowboy's one of your good friends. You want to come ambush him? And Cowboy was very wired up because he was expecting something. And he was correct. And we had Pablo come ambush him in the middle of the show. Funny times, man. One of the first pranks I think we pulled since the decon was. So
yeah,
good times. Number three.
Cowboy Killer 2. Cowboy Killer having the hay bell on set.
Oh,
Crazy
man. Look at that.
coincidence.
We got some iconic pictures.
Crazy coincidence. Look at that. He's got a hay bell on set. The cleanup was terrible. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah,
Sorry.
apologies for 519.
sorry, 519. But look at that. Look at that. It was so fitting for him, and we didn't plan this.
Yeah, the story with that is that there was another production, I think with the animal shelter, that was like kind of showing off animals for adoption.
Yeah.
And part of their set was hay bales. And they finished filming before us, like a day before, something like that. We're going to come back like within a week. And so they're like, can we leave the hay bales here?
Yeah.
And so 519 was like, sure. And then we come in, we got a cowboy guest on, and then we have all these hay bales.
Were
just total coincidence, man. Like, the greatest coincidence in the show's history, and
fantastic. Yeah,
produced some great set piece for that episode.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, my number three. Let's roll that one up, and that is two-man embassy doing the weather.
Oh, this
is one you definitely want to run here.
Yeah,
it's funny one.
Hello and welcome back to Sydney. Thank you for tuning in to Action Sydney News coverage you can count on. Today we're basically going to be going over the weather. First off, before we get into the weird monkey business going on down south. Today looks like it's going to be 74 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, strong wind warning. Wonder what that's going to be about, Tristan?
Overnight it's going to be 67 degrees. We don't know if it's Fahrenheit or Celsius. We sure hope it is Fahrenheit.
However, because it's down south, we are guessing it's going to be Celsius. So if you have an air conditioner, you might want to double down on that. Grab two.
An ice bath while you're at it.
Yeah.
Signing off, this is your Sydney News
Coverage.
that you can count on. Goodbye.
Most likely. Goodbye.
Hilarious. Why did they end up choosing Australia?
They just picked a random weather, man. They said like they want to do a whole like thing where they just became like a weather history channel like overnight.
That's right. I remember that.
And that shit was funny, and they just kind of busted that out, and we made that our intro to the show.
Fantastic.
It was great. I mean, get two coolers or ACs as Brad was saying, double down. You know, Action Sydney News. I want to see those guys do more weather reports, man.
Oh, I would love that.
That was definitely one of the best.
Yep.
So now number two.
Number two. Well, my number two is actually two-man embassy weather segment. So
yeah, we just ran that.
We just ran that. Absolutely fantastic, hilarious. Those dudes, naturals.
Comedians, great duo, man.
Yeah.
I only can imagine what happens when third
Blake is around.
Blake is on. I hope we get to do another interview with all three of you in the room.
We need to make that happen.
My number two. This is a classic, man. Pranking Decon with your shitty beat.
Yeah,
man.
That
we walked in, said, you know what? Let's mess with this guy. The guy who's like willing to take our show to the next level. The first thing we said was, how can we fuck with this guy?
Yeah, 100%.
And so we said, let's make a terrible beat and show it to him. Treat it like you've been working on this for years. And well, I think we got the results here. So
we rolled that.
We'll say a surprise for you, Decon.
Yeah.
Damien's got a new album coming out, and we want to throw a little preview here.
Yeah. Ooh,
Damien, go get that set up for us, dog.
We'll
keep
it rolling.
Am I
gonna be reviewing?
Throw your.
Bro, I'm like the Chef Gordon Ramsay.
Oh no!
Like production and stuff like that. So
he's been working on this shit for like 2 years or something like that, like give or take. Like he's been putting in the fucking hours, dog.
Dude, hell yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, dog. It's we'll see, dog. You ready? You ready? Here we go. That little nature.
First off, you sing or rap?
Yeah, I rap.
He's a rapper.
Oh, you rapper?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is how you speak.
This is just an instrumental.
Yeah.
Oh, this is only instrumental?
Yeah, this
okay,
is
rap
only-
right now.
Yeah. What? Wait. What? Wait. Why? Yeah. What? Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah.
We can't. So what you think about it? What you think about
Y'all
it?
can't see it, but in the very side of the studio, there's Nick Johnson, who owns the whole entire studio. He's bopping.
Yeah.
He's bopping.
So what do you think, dog?
Yeah. I like
You like?
the birds. You put
The
in
birds,
there,
yeah.
the sound, yeah, it could be. Yeah, no, it's good. You could,
2 years
You
to
could
work
do. You
right
could do
there, man.
2 what?
2 years.
2 years.
That took me 2 years.
You got 2 more going for you that you need to put under your belt, and I feel like
No.
you're
All right.
Alright, so that we made that shit. So our plan was like, we gotta make the nastiest shit, bro. We gotta make the
Yeah,
nastiest.
no, this
At
was.
first, like, you're like, hey,
act like
hey,
it's
I was
real.
like XXX Temptation, like the group. I was like, oh.
We
Yeah,
gotta act like it's real, and then I was like, I'm just gonna ad lib over it if he tells me to rap.
Yeah.
And then he told me to rap. I just started ad libbing
yeah.
over it.
No, that we made that
We made that
tailor-made ass just for you. That's not gonna be on the album.
That's not
at
being
all.
on the album. That's
I appreciate it.
yeah. We just want to see how you
Yeah,
react.
no,
I wanted
we-
you to like we were expecting like you just be like hell no and just like get up.
No.
I've sat through some tormentous like studio sessions with other people that would just like bring me in as like a friend and just be like, hey yo, like listen to this, and I'm just like, I can't. I really can't.
No, I
trust
saw
it.
you saw you're like, I want to tear into this,
Yo,
but I don't want to.
I saw it in your
With my
eyes, like,
homies, I'm brutal, but like
Yeah.
because I grew up in like that type of thing where like they're just like really honest, and it's like
Yeah.
for example, like if I go to a studio, this dude like he basically I go to him for anything with vocals or production and stuff like that because he's very honest with me. A lot of other studios and I've had experience with other producers and stuff who are just like,
Yeah.
yo, give me my money, here you go, there you go, and there's no teamwork, so it's like I love like the translate. Not trashing on your beat, bro.
No, trust me.
It was
We
purpose
purposely
made
made that
trash.
bad.
Hey,
Yeah, I'll play
there could be some
real shit.
remixes out there that could be better, whatever. You don't know. It could take off.
No.
Yeah, but that's how he is with me too. Because like I've been making music for like 2 years.
We'll
like,
just call that experimental. How
Yeah,
about that?
exactly.
It's experimental. It's
B-sides,
There you
dog.
go.
All right, let's get into our number ones here. Praying Decon was definitely one we thought was risky, but I don't know. There are some stuff that we have deemed the top. So what is the top for you, Damien?
And man, it's so hard because, like I said, this was harder than any of the higher level UNM courses I took. This was harder than any test because, honestly, there's too many moments to count. But Hondro Fiesta's 2019 story,
OG, man.
OG story. Elliot Blue told us that. God, man, we've got such a great story. We got Hondro even
He shared it.
He even shared it, and
Yeah.
it was just something that we thought like was so crazy to hear about coming from like the backside of like everything. I know Elliot Blue, Ethan, he was running SSE at the time, and you want to talk about having a heart attack from an artist, man. Definitely, I feel for Ethan. I feel for Joe Pollock, even expanded over it, and man, that's such a good story. And
I definitely, I think our most popular highlight to this day on
Yeah.
Instagram. So let's run into that real quick, so you can get a little perspective if you haven't seen it. The Hondro disaster, Fiestas 2019. Walk us through that, dog. I want to hear about that.
Okay, first of all, shout out Hondro.
Yeah,
Go
that's
stream
right.
all of his shit. He's huge right now.
yeah, Hondro's great.
All I gotta say, man, is why would you do that to me? Like, you saw just a young kid that needed help, and you're like, nah, man. Nah, man. So, here's what happened with the Hondro show. I will say before I even get into this, if I was any other person at that venue, at that show, I would want a mosh pit. Like, his stuff is dope. His whole,
Energy was great.
The energy was amazing.
It was wild.
The only reason I had to stop it was because we are liable for if people get hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
If people get hurt, our funding goes down. There's lawsuits. UNM gets in trouble.
You're on the hook.
And
you know,
and
it's-
again, UNM looks like a shitty university.
Yeah.
And like we're trying to highlight UNM.
Yeah.
So here's what happened with the Hondro show. You know they're having a good time in the green room. They're smoking a little bit. They're drinking.
Oh.
Personally, I don't care. But
Yeah.
our advisor did.
Oh.
And so one of his like entourage like kind of friends came out, and he was like holding the bottle of Hennessy,
Yeah.
and like he was drinking it in front of her, and I was like, bro, you can't do that. And like, so she took it and poured it out. And so our like one rule with fiestas is like try to limit mosh pits so people don't get hurt, and don't welcome people on stage.
Oh, he broke both
He
rules.
did both of those rules. And if I was in the crowd, I would be mosh pitting and I would run to the stage.
He wanted girls though.
And,
He wanted girls to come up on stage and twerk.
Yeah, and so like you were trying to do a wall of death, Hondro, and so I run up. I'm like, yo, man, like please don't do this, don't do this. And so I told him, I was like, I'm gonna have to cut your mic. Like if you tell them to do this, like I have to cut your mic.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I guess I won't do it. But I guess he winked to the crowd.
Yeah. He was like a wink, nudge. He's like, I can't do it.
I remember Ethan running up, and he's like, blah, blah, blah. And, like, you could just see you guys talking, and then you run out, and then Alejandro, like, turns to the crowd, and he's like, hey, don't.
Yeah.
He was like, we're not going to do it.
Which I want to say, like, to all my friends, fuck y'all. Because when I was literally on stage, I was like, Hondro, please don't do this, man. Like we're liable. All my friends in the front row, including y'all, and y'all are booing me. Yes, y'all are like, boo, get off the stage.
No, I forgot you got booed so hard.
And I look and there's like Deacon and
I was like,
what the hell?
No, I remember that. It was like everybody that we knew in the front, and like everybody was like booing.
It's a mob mentality,
Yeah.
dog.
They're like, what the fuck? Because Pablo was there too.
Yeah, so we had to protect him from a mosh
we had
pit
to protect him.
because we were standing with him. So he came over. We were in the front. Watching what was going on. He's inciting violence, and before we know it, Davey and I are the edge of the mosh pit.
Yeah, bro, we were there, and I'm like, what the fuck?
We're like,
and Pablo's like, I'm gonna jump in. And then
we're like,
jumps in, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? He kept pushing it, and then he gets right back on me. I catch him. Like,
yeah, we caught him in, pulled him out.
Wow.
Man, Bush League era.
Forgive the
Bush
audio.
League era,
But man, such a good story.
Yeah, well, first off, it's a great kind of show of growth of where we were to where we are now. But I mean, I think shitty audio are not one of the best stories of all time.
Oh yeah,
hands down.
100%.
Man,
Yeah,
that's a classic.
classic.
And thanks for sharing, Hondro, and putting us on the map on episode 3, man. We didn't
Yeah.
expect to get traction like that. Anyways, last but very not least, my number one. It is something that we had for 3 or 2 episodes. Well, it was an episode, then Scorpio season, then JD Nash tried to bring it back. It's a joke that we can't shake, and it's all thanks to this moment. The Arby's beef and the Meat Mountain stuff. All the Arby's jokes from Kali Solzi, the author, and Jay Scribe. So
Man,
run that one, and you'll see what happened here. So let's talk about some crazier stuff that happened with you, Z. You and Jay Scribe were
Jay Scribbles.
we're trading some words on day 2 of that festival. So
I'm here to set the stage right now.
So
Monday
let's talk
night.
about that.
Monday night.
So how are we gonna settle this? Is it gonna be a rap battle, boxing
no,
match,
boxing match, bruh.
Call of Duty
Some more.
1v1? You know,
We can do all 3, man. We can make it. We can make it an Olympic thing.
It's a fight to the death. See who stays up the
I
longest.
really don't care, man. We could do whatever. We could do whatever. What camera I'm looking in? We could do whatever you want to do, bro. We could do whatever you want to do, bro. Just hit my line, bro. Like,
Look, this is all I'm saying is we can't
I
let
have
too much
nothing else to say.
information out. But it's gonna be going down.
and look, if I win, whatever we end up doing, when I win that, I'm gonna make this man eat a full blown, sitting in front of him, Arby's meal.
Why does everyone hate Arby's?
Meat Mountain.
Arby's
Meat
getting
Mountain.
mad at this.
Curly fries.
That's the real
Ever had a
question.
beef and cheddar?
What did Arby's do to y'all? Man?
Root
Caesar
beer.
salad sandwich?
Nah,
Then
man.
chocolate shake?
Root beer is so gross.
well, I hear that Jay Scribe likes having Arby's coupon sent to his place of residence.
Word on the block is that is very true. That
Yeah.
he eats Arby's.
I really feel like he tries to make me feel like he tries to make it like he tries to change the narrative as if like I'm the one that's eating Arby's. But secretly, he's the one that be like chomping down on that shit. Like, you know what I'm
Because
saying?
he has good taste. Ooh. Arby's. They've got the meats. You've got hypertension.
Yo, you said that serious though. You said that, look at
I love
that
Arby's.
camera.
Everyone
Yeah,
fucking hates
serious.
Arby's.
I don't know. You know, Arby's used to have a one.
So you
good
telling me you
sandwich.
getting down on the Meat Mountain, bro?
Come on, you get down on a melted meat mountain
Every
beef.
day. Coupon, no coupon.
Roast beef?
No remorse, bro. Like,
Dry ass
no,
roast beef?
just
I'm
like
not
biting right
picky.
into that,
As long
bro.
as it's not tuna, casserole, or black licorice, I'll eat anything.
All right, black licorice is ass. Tuna be smacking though. Tuna melt, New York. Shout
I'll
out to
take
the
tuna.
deli.
I'll take black licorice in tuna over a meat mountain, bro. It's just a name.
All right,
bro.
I'm fucking.
I mean, there is a
give him a
very
meat mountain.
deep debate on Arby's.
Agree to
and, you know,
disagree.
I
There's
get-
no debate. It's good.
I'm sorry
Jay
that we-
Scribe eats Arby's. That's all I'm saying.
Millions of
It's
people.
literally that's all I have to say.
That's all you got right
Scrabble
there.
eats Arby's.
I'm sorry we got political today. I didn't realize we were going to be going in the deep dive on
I didn't
Arby's, yes
I
or
didn't know
no.
you were gonna be asking me these questions. I
was
didn't
ready
know
for
these
Hey,
questions.
listen,
You know, we gotta
that's-
get the boxing
That's what this
match
show's
going.
about. You know. Is about, man. Moments like that are really what makes this, show so enjoyable to do, and why we keep coming back for more, and why y'all keep watching this 3-joke show. But man, this is where it started. The Arby's jokes just kind of came from there. We had a whole conversation with D Brown about Arby's, like Kali Soul and Z, the author, just they came out of nowhere and they changed the culture of this show. That's how impactful this moment was, and it was personally one of my favorites. And it's just that moment there is probably the biggest reason why I thought this was one of the best the best interview of the year. So, man, these lists were tough, but we got through it all. Let us know what some of your favorites were this year, and everybody who came on. I mean, everyone should have been on this list.
really.
Everyone was just so unique, but man, it's just memorable event after memorable event, and it's been crazy. So thanks for joining us for our top 5s, guys. We got a lot more to come. So, yeah, let's take a break. That was a long one. We'll be back. And welcome back to the producer's pit. So generally for call outs every week, we have our guests kind of, suggest some people they want to see on the show in future, but we figured, we got to keep tradition. We did Song of the Week.
Yep.
We're going to do call outs. So for this show, we called upon the community. We asked you guys who you wanted to see on in future, and I think you guys gave us a pretty good list. So let's go down the list of who you want to see on in year 2, and hey, maybe we can get them on in future, because this show's always going. We're always looking for guests. So let's get it started with St. Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely got some pull. I've seen
their name around.
I've definitely seen their name around. Real fan favorite around here.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
For sure.
Moving on.
Next, we got Daniel Rosales.
I've seen him live, I believe, over at La Luna.
Yep.
Real good stuff, great voice. I know he's hung around the Monsoon Music House.
Yeah, real cool dude too.
Yeah, no, really nice guy. So, hey, definitely down to have him.
Yep.
Here's one that we definitely haven't heard of yet, but we'll be checking out what their stuff and possibly get them on in future. But a decorative picturesque, quite a name.
Yeah, we definitely got to check him out. With a name like that, got to check him out.
Definitely some interesting stuff there based off that name.
True. And the next is the Conundrums. I have not heard of them personally, but I definitely will check them out too. Just like you said,
Yeah.
the name just brings in attention. You're like, oh man, I
Yeah,
gotta
the
check them out.
conundrums, like,
Yeah,
damn,
like,
what do they
that's
do?
that's pretty crazy.
And that's the wonder of this show too, is we always learn about new people, which is the crazy part, and that's why we do the call outs list. Honestly, is to kind of figure out who's in the community, learn some new names, and that's kind of how we've gotten a lot of future guests on this show. So, anyways, keep it rolling. Tyler Harris himself, he actually suggested. He said, "Hey, I want to come on." So, we'll definitely give your music a listen. See about getting you on in future. Who knows? But thanks for bringing yourself to our attention.
Yeah, and the next one is Kevin Hierig.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a good
definitely,
one.
yeah.
Barcelona is on the local picks of the week, I believe.
Yeah, we definitely
Armando
heard that name
from
before.
Scorpio Season threw his name out there.
Yep.
Barcelona is a great song, so hey, we're there too.
Yeah,
And last but not least, bass player special.
Yeah.
I'll give you $10 if you can guess who suggested that one. He's a member of the Mango Cakes. Easiest $10 you're ever going to make if you know that one. After the percussion special, I can see another special like this getting very spicy. And there are some good bass players in town that we've met.
Yeah, very true.
Some characters, some real cool dudes. And like I said, I think one of the most impressive pedal board setups we've seen belonged to a bass player. Yeah, Arthur from Dat Yak. One of the various bass players for the situation.
Yes.
But regardless, the bass player special will be very interesting. The percussion special was something that kind of we were able to explore a side of music that you generally really don't get from it's just a unique kind of position. I think drummers have their own kind of experiences and communities, and the bass player community I think is one that we definitely want to delve into. So hey, shout out to percussionists for really kind of setting the trend on these specials, because I think that would be a very interesting idea. Yeah. So, any of you have heard your name on this special edition of Community Callouts? Instagram producers_pit. Send in your music. Hit us up. We'll see about getting you on the show. And of course, that's where you can keep up to date with everything we're doing. I know we got some stuff coming up. Yeah. And we can expect year 2 to have its be very eventful as well. Mm-hmm. So Spotify, same handle. And of course, just look up Producers Pit on YouTube right here. That's how you spell it. It's nice logo.
Yep.
Shout out Red Panda.
Yep.
We're still using that. That's how beautiful it is. But anyways, that's where you can find us on the internet. It's always going. This show's always rolling. We're always having a good time thanks to you guys. So with that being said, I think we'll take a break and we'll be right back. And that concludes our top 5 list for today. There was a lot of good moments, a lot of great songs. I mean, we didn't even cover, I'd say, half of it. Oh, yeah. I mean, this year has been, just a lifetime full of events and moments for this show. I mean, we have you guys to thank for, everyone who watches the show tells us, comes up, says hi, says, they like the show, and everyone who, likes the content, the guests who've been on, I mean, coming on, sharing your stories, sharing your, personality out there. I mean, that's the whole reason this show, exists. So thank you very much. I mean, that's why we were able to get so much content out of just some top 5s, because you guys, it's all you. Yeah. That's really what it is. So be on the lookout on our Instagram, producers_pit. We'll be posting the individual top 5s if you want to check those recaps, share them, or, maybe even discuss some of the lists. You
disagree with us.
Disagree with us. I'm sure you got your favorites, so definitely let us know what some of your favorite moments are. I mean, hey, we definitely missed a lot, even with all the mentions we did. So here's to, one great year, guys. Hopefully there's a lot more in year 2. And, hey, we're looking forward to it. So for myself, for Damien's an Alien, Studio 519, for the great music community of Albuquerque, New Mexico, this is the Producers Pit signing off. We'll see you for year 2.